Musically.
Hello and welcome to Relationship Soup. I'm your host, Lisa Hughes. Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. How y'all doing today? How was your weekend? How was your week? Are y'all having a good week so far? Did y'all do anything interesting over the weekend? My weekend was good. My week is off to a great start. I can't even lie today though, y'all. I am feeling it. You hear me? Professor life has started back up full time now. I was doing summer school, but I'm telling you today, I am actually feeling it, y'all. So I'm gonna need all y'all energy and participation tonight. I'm just saying. So anyway, y'all, thank y'all so much for joining me. I want to thank all of you for pulling up on me tonight. Hey, hit that chat. Let me know that y'all here. And you know what? I don't know if my little link to join me in the studio is actually in Facebook. So if somebody's on Facebook watching from Facebook, let me know if you see that link in there. I'm going to post it on here anyway. But anyway, I want to thank all of y'all for pulling up tonight. So whether you're watching me live on Facebook, or you catching us on YouTube, or you listen to a replay, I see you. I love you and I appreciate you. Thank you so much, y'all. So, before I get into my 79th episode, y'all already know I got to do my spiel, right? And I do got to tell y'all about my weekend right quick. So, but let me do this spiel first. Let me go ahead and do this spiel right quick. All right. I see y'all comments already. And I promise I'm going to bring them on, y'all. But y'all, let me go ahead and get my spiel in here. Okay. Now, look, y'all already know what I'm going to say, right? Now, listen, y'all. I know it be people watching because I done went to a couple events this week and even today, right? Even today in my workplace, somebody came up to me and was like, "Hey, yo, I was watching." Okay, they didn't really say yo because it's academia, so it was more professional. Hi, Lisa. You know, I'll be watching your podcast. That's what's up, right? This weekend. Oh yeah, you got relate. I know you, right? I'm popping my collar a little bit, right? You got that relationship soup show. Yes, right. So I know y'all like, yo, Lisa, so where you going with it? Subscribe. You hear me? Tell your friends and stuff to subscribe because I know people watching, right? I don't really get to see who's all watching because it's public and all that, but it be people watching, right? So subscribe. Let me know that you support the content. Let YouTube know. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't. It's Relationship Soup, period. You got to put the period. If you don't put the period, you're gonna be somewhere else. You're gonna absolutely be somewhere else. Now, the group is still growing, and y'all, I have a from the principal's inbox, right? Y'all know how I would, how sometimes the members will be posting stuff. I'm gonna share it. It's juicy too, right? But anyway, so come and join the forum, Relationship Soup Group, y'all. We are still thousands and thousands and thousands strong, right? Now, if you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC, right? You want to follow me? I'll be posting some content. Thank y'all for the love on my little reel. I kind of posted a little bit of my summer, you know what I'm saying? Just to give y'all a little taste. I got to get better with posting because I just been like maybe a one and done post a week. So I gotta kind of get that up. But thank y'all for the love on my little summertime reel so far. I'm gonna share some more stuff. And of course, RelationshipSoup.com. Greeting cards. If you need some t-shirts, whatever, hit me up. All right, boom. So I see y'all comments. Thank y'all so. Now look, let me go on and post this link right there. I don't know if it's in the Facebook chat or not. I don't really even know. But yeah, so if it ain't, there it is. Hit me on the inbox. Maybe I can send the link to you or whatever. All right, boom. So I see y'all comments. What's up, Lisa? What's going on, Tyron? What's up, Tyron? We're gonna wrap up last week's conversation and we're gonna get into some stuff on today. I'm gonna tell y'all in a minute. Holly. I'm so glad you blessed and thankful. Absolutely. Thank you for joining me, beautiful. Barbara B, what's the science? Yo, what's up? What's up, East Coast woman? How are you? How are you? What's going on, Jay, Desiree, Rashawn? I love you, cousin. Thank you so much for joining me. Yes, it is a good start. It is a very good start, right? By looking at your pics from the weekend, I see you and found, you know what, Tyra, you still digging. Them pics from the weekend, hold on. Now, they weren't for the weekend. Them was actually from my birthday, right? That was earlier, right? Them was earlier. My pictures from the weekend, I ain't post them, but I'm gonna tell you about my weekend right quick, y'all. Let me tell you about my weekend. I see y'all comments. I see them. Hold on. Yes. Hey, supers. M. Woodson, what's the mathematics? Oh, we're gonna get into it. Listen, we be in this blood. Our conversation be on fire. We're gonna get you already know. You already know, right? I yes. You should model that shirt. You hear me? Model that shirt. And I love when y'all be sending me pictures and stuff. I have some pictures in my DM or my inbox or whatever, of people modeling their little shirt, right? But do men really model? I guess y'all say model. Y'all wearing, donning the shirt, whatever y'all say. Chris Dean, what's up, Chris Dean? Hey, tell this soon, Mrs. Dean. I say hello. And I gotta send you my address because listen, I gotta come to y'all wedding. I know it be, y'all be, because I planned a wedding before back in the day. And I know you be like, man, we gonna only have so many plates. But Chris, put me in, coach. I want to come to the wedding. You feel me? And I buy good gifts. You hear me? I buy good gifts and they don't just be coming from the dollar store. Not that the dollar store, anything is wrong with the dollar store, but I'm just saying I'm gonna actually get stuff on y'all registry. You hear me? So put me in, coach. Put me in. Just saying. Just saying. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. All right, y'all. So look, Derek Norris. What's the word? What's the mathematics? I know you lying. Hold on. Now I gotta hold on to my story. Wait a minute. Y'all got married on Friday? Dang, Chris. See, that's another lesson, procrastination, because y'all know what I did. I had said it on one show. I was like, yeah, Chris, I want to come to y'all wedding and everything. Chris was like, yeah, send me your address, right? Yeah. So I thought I had time, Chris. I thought I had time. Well, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Dean. May y'all be blessed with many, many, many years together. May y'all union be protected. And may y'all always put God at center, right? All right. So look, y'all keep them comments coming. I see your comment. All right. So let me tell y'all about my weekend right quick because I gotta get into what this 79th episode gonna be about. And thank y'all for y'all support because of y'all, we up to 79. So anyway, all right. So this weekend, a friend of mine um actually invited me to their anniversary party. And let me tell y'all this story, right? I guess when you know, you know. So anyway, long story short, this is how her and her husband met. Her husband was freshly divorced. She was freshly divorced, like fresh. The papers, the ink, the judge signature wasn't even all the way dry yet. You hear me? But listen, They met at like a bar back in the day. It was Ebony and Ivory. That's I mean, I'm sure my mom and them probably know about that. I'm too young for that, right? But anyway, so they met at Ebony and Ivory. Boom. So they just start talking, whatever, right? Guess how long? Put it in the chat. Guess how long, y'all, they knew each other before they got married? Just somebody put in the chat for me right quick. How long do y'all think they knew each other, right? After meeting Ebony and Ivory, this bar, I think that was out east. Is that out east, y'all? Is that considered east? I forget. But anyway, I know it ain't open no more, right? How long do y'all think that they knew each other before they got married? All right, I'm gonna let y'all guess. I know y'all like get on with the show. Nah, but this is good though. This is really good. 10 years, 6 months, 2 months, 2 months or 6 months. Hey, and my closest friends don't even answer because y'all already know the answer because I told y'all how excited I was when I went to the little thing. Yes, east side of town. Okay, so y'all, they only knew each other for 3 weeks. Hold on. 3 weeks, y'all. They knew each other for 3 weeks. And I have to tell this whole story, y'all. I have to tell it because it's just like, listen, everybody's story is different, but I love to hear how couples met and fell in love and, got married and stuff. So anyway, they met at this bar, whatever, right? So they was kicking it, dating, whatever, right? So anyway, husband, I'm just gonna call him husband. Her husband, now husband, he was kind of hee-hawing around, like, I don't really know, if you really what I want, you know what I'm saying? Okay. I don't really know the conversation. All I know is he was kind of starting to get cold feet. All right. And so she was like, okay, that's what's up. So hey, you do you and I'm gonna do me. Right. So she just left it at that, hung up the phone. He called right back and was like, yo, I know this story. So anyway, yo, so what does that mean? You gonna do you and I'm gonna do me. And he was like, well, I don't like the sound of that. And so she was like, I mean, but you don't know what you want to do about me. Hey, listen, I ain't about that. I'm paraphrasing y'all, right? So I'm just telling her what she telling y'all what she told me. So anyway, homie came back with a ring and they got married after 3 weeks, y'all. 3 weeks. And they just celebrated 30 years of marriage. And when I tell you that event had over 300 people. It was beautiful. And even I'll have to tell y'all the story later because y'all already know how I be on a Tuesday and I got to get this show going. But I am telling you, their whole marriage and the empire that they built, when I tell you that it is a testimony, it's a testimony. Now, that story ain't for everybody, right? Look, listen, I ain't telling nobody to get married after 3 weeks. So now don't be in my inbox. What you think people should get married after 3 weeks? Nah, bro. Sometimes you need a little bit more time to pick a mate. You know, sometimes people, you just got to spend a little bit more time. But I'm just saying, I was so inspired because, what I'm going to get into tonight, they were so truthful and vulnerable, even at their wedding anniversary party or whatever, right? I'm telling you, y'all. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. I really just wanted to share that because I just really think that, their ministry, their marriage, and yes, they've shared, I know some of the ups and downs and all of that. Maybe one day I'll have them on the show so they can talk to y'all. But I'm just saying, hey, love still exists. It still exists, right? That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. So, Lisa, what's the drink of the night? All right. So tonight I am drinking. This is actually alkaline water. I have ginger in here and key limes. That's just what I've really been on. That's my little concoction tonight. You know what I'm saying? I just really been on that. That's all I'm saying. All good. All I get is good mornings. Listen, listen. I don't know what it is about 3 weeks or something because even from the principal's inbox that I'm gonna get into tonight, yeah, it's something about that three. 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 I guess three is a divine number, right? Yeah, I'm just saying 3 weeks. Yes, 3 weeks, y'all. But I guess if you know, you know, right? That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and get into this 79th episode. So this episode is entitled Soul Check, right? I ain't really do no fancy titles or nothing tonight because tonight is really a soul check. Like I said, I wanted to wrap up last week's episode. And then I really want to get into something that really impacts some of us, right? I be careful with saying all. You know what I'm saying? Because I'll be like lying sometimes. So all right. So anyway, all right. So where are you going with this, Lisa? And I see y'all comments. If I haven't brought them on yet, I will. All right. So anyway, so last week we talked about whether you were the main star or the backup plan, right? And one of my takeaways from that show is intention. Like intention means everything. The truth of the matter is sometimes when relationships and stuff start, and it really just depends, right? Okay. It just really depends. But to me, intention and consistency is everything. While you might not be somebody first choice at first, depending on how it pans out, you could end up being the first choice, the main character, right? And then sometimes if you find out that you're just the second choice, you got to move accordingly, right? You just have to, intention is truly everything. I love this glass. Now, where did I get this glass from, Barbara B? Right, right. I know you and Nikki would tell me. I know y'all gonna tell me. All right. So anyway, so that's my takeaway. Um, so what we're gonna really get into as well, and I got a prompt for y'all because, like I said, I'm gonna need all y'all energy. I'm gonna need y'all in these comments, like y'all be showing up for me every week. So now, what I really want to hit hard on is honesty and vulnerability as my earpiece falls out. So, honesty and vulnerability, y'all. We're going to actually get into that tonight. Honesty, think about that. Honesty and vulnerability. And I hope that this episode will help you to reflect, reclaim your agency, and anchor into love built on truth, right? Because let's think about something, whether it's a relationship, family ship, or whatever. What is that relationship built on? Even your relationship with self, because honesty and vulnerability also impact self, right? So that's what I want y'all to be kind of, thinking about, marinating on. So grab your tea, your drinks, whatever. Hey, like I said, I'm doing a healthy choice tonight. This is ginger, key lime, and alkaline water tonight. So hey, Len, let's go ahead and get into this, y'all. This is another talk with just me and you. We're gonna get into this tonight. All right, boom. So let me see here. Derek says 3 weeks is crazy, but I'm glad it worked out for them. Positive examples matter. Absolutely, it does. And that's one thing that I really love is when I can see positive examples because so often we see the division, the divisiveness. We see some of us see like toxicity and stuff like that, and even with our own experiences, sometimes it can just be a little bit tainted. That life lived can be a fool, right? It can taint some things, right? So anyway, all right. So let me go ahead. So I want y'all to take a deep breath with me because we got to get into this. So breathe in and breathe out. All right, boom. I needed that, y'all, because I'm telling y'all today, ooh, it was a very long day. All right, so this is the prompt that I want to actually put in the chat, y'all. And I'm going to bring this on because I don't think this is posting to Facebook. Okay, so this is something that I want you. Oh, now they know they petty. I guess that was too many words. Hold on. All right, y'all, hold on, because I want to bring this on in its entirety. I don't want it broken up. So let me go ahead and bring this on. Okay, it's still doing it. All right, so anyway, so question I have for you, whether you want to put it in the chat or just really think about it. When have you felt genuinely chosen? What did it look like in actions and not just words, right? And if you're still waiting for that feeling, okay, you're still waiting, right? What does being chosen look like? Even this month, right? In one small, a petty, concrete way. Right? So what does that look like? What does being chosen look like? All right. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this. So, y'all, honesty and vulnerability. And one of my friends, we were actually having a conversation about that. And they said vulnerability actually breeds dishonesty. And actually, yeah. So, anyway, so that really had me thinking vulnerability breeds dishonesty. What y'all think about that? All right. So, let's look at it. Okay. So, honesty. What is honesty? Honesty involves what, y'all? Telling the truth, being trustworthy, genuine in words and actions. Examples could be admitting a mistake, speaking the truth even when difficult, y'all. Not being deceiving or misrepresenting information. The focus is on external truth, facts, and integrity in communication. Right? That's honesty. The professor had to come out with it, right? Honesty is truth in motion, right? Now, while being honest can bring clarity, we all know that clarity does not always guarantee comfort. Sometimes clarity can be uncomfortable as hell, right? But it creates momentum and the freedom to move, right? It adds to the foundation. It can anyway, right? So let me ask y'all another thing. Let me go ahead and put this in the chat as well, and I'll bring it on because Facebook is doing its thing. All right. So, what one honest conversation, however small, would make your week lighter, right? Now, in putting this show together today, right? This is a continuation from last week because this is something I really wanted to, hit on last week, but it I believe things always happen at the right time, right? So, this question: what one honest conversation, however small, would make your week lighter, right? This really resonated with me because this really had me thinking about some things, and I know that even some stuff that I need to move on, right? So think about that. All right, boom. So that's one thing. So y'all, let's get into vulnerability, okay? Because this is huge. Vulnerability, y'all. Vulnerability. So vulnerability is about sharing your true self, okay? Including your emotions, thoughts, imperfections, right? With others or even with yourself, right? Examples could be expressing sadness, fear, admitting weakness, sharing personal struggles, whatever, right? Now, vulnerability focuses internal. That's internal truth, emotional honesty, and openness to the potential of being hurt or judged. Because when you're vulnerable, you put yourself out there, right? That's like taking a little band-aid off the scab, right? So you vulnerable, you open, right? So vulnerability is the courage to be seen when we most want to hide, right? Because vulnerability can make you be like, oh, yo, man, I don't know, right? Well, think about this, y'all. So vulnerability, like depending, we've hit on attachment patterns, our nervous system, like we've talked about all those things. And vulnerability often collides with those, y'all. So whatever your attachment style, attachment pattern is, wherever your nervous system is at, vulnerability can kind of, play with that a little bit. So, and especially if you have like abandonment issues or you have a fear of rejection, right? Our bodies can basically tell us, hey, yo, shh, be silent, right? Right? Because silence can equal safety, right? Now I know you like, Lisa, where are you going with this? Well, this is where I'm getting into now because now let's talk about omission. Y'all know what omission is? Okay, I see y'all comments. I see y'all comments. Hold on, I'm talking. Nikki Bonner, what's the science, right? I see you, sis. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, the link is out there if you want to get in the studio. Just let me know. Hi, Warren. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me today. Look, I had to perk up after today. You hear me? Oh, you already know. Well, today was draining, but anyway, it was good seeing you today. All right, boom. So omission, y'all. Let's look at this, right? What is omission, right? Think about that. Define that in the chat for me because I'm gonna get to it. It's another thing that I want to cover. Okay. So now, at the end of the day, truth telling, when done with care, teaches our body that we can survive, being honest, okay? And we can actually have our needs met as well. Now, this is some things to think about, right? Like when you are in that moment or whatever of whether you want to tell the truth, you want to be vulnerable, think about this. What feeling am I trying to avoid by staying quiet? Because again, sometimes when that vulnerability is challenged, sometimes you can be like, I'm gonna be quiet, Shonda. I ain't gonna, I'm gonna omit some things, right? So think about that. So now, what is a mission, y'all? Let's talk about this, y'all. What is a mission? Because we about to step on some toes tonight, and I might even step on my own toes. Let's see where we're gonna go with this. So omission is basically the action of excluding or leaving out someone or something. Basically, you know how people don't be telling the whole details. Oh yeah, that's my best friend right there. Example. Oh, she just my best friend. But in actuality, yeah, that's his best friend. That was his ex. You know what I'm saying? They used to do all kind of stuff, menage a trois, everything together. But that's his best friend. But he just ain't say that that was his romantic part, right? Don't those details matter? But anyway, all right. So let me get back into it. So, is it a big deal when we edit out truths that would matter to another person's choice or understanding? Let me ask that again. Does it matter? Is it a big deal when we edit out truths that would matter to another person's choice or understanding? What y'all think? What y'all think? All right, let's see here. I see y'all comments. I see y'all comments, right? And I'm gonna get back to it. Hi, Mark Lee. Thank you so much for joining me. For me, when I'm entertaining the ladies, I find it hard for them to keep it real. And what would make my week lighter is to have a real conversation. Absolutely. I love real conversations, especially those with substance. Gotta love a real conversation. I love mornings, evenings, nights. It's the thought that counts. Absolutely. Absolutely. Being honest with self first and being open to understanding the person. Absolutely. Omission is pretending. Okay. Okay. I see that. I see that. All right. So Holly says, even being chosen didn't mean anything because they were dishonest about their intentions. Because I was giving my all and being open with them, but they took it as a weakness. But I have no problem with being alone because I love me no matter of my, yeah, absolutely. Harsh and heartbreaking past. Absolutely. You gotta love you. You absolutely have to love you. Right? And the beautiful thing is for me, because there was a time when I was like, yo, I was real, and I was this or whatever. Man, I don't even, now I'm to the point where, I don't allow myself to feel away when I move accordingly. I don't allow myself to feel away no more. And I give myself grace. You feel me? Because all you can control is you, right? All you can control is the energy that you put out, how you move with people. And that's gonna, determine what your conscience look like. Because baby, my conscience is clear. I don't feel a way about nothing. You feel me? I don't feel a way about nothing because I know that, my intentions be right. So, I just want to give you that little piece. All right, that's all I'm saying. My boy did that to Sherry. Y'all a trip. Okay, so Bree says vulnerability oftentimes unveils those unhealed traumas and truths we refuse to face. Absolutely, they do. Absolutely. All right, so y'all, let's lean in a little bit more. Like I said, this may step on some toes, right? Now, I'm going to go ahead and put this in the chat, and I will bring this on because. All right, so is it honesty if you don't bring it up? Okay. Is it honesty if you don't bring it up? Right. Or is it damage control? Right. Because it could be you not bringing it up because he really do look crazy or she really do look crazy in that dress and you is damage control. Right. Is omission lying to kick it? What y'all think? Right. Is omission lying? What y'all think? I see y'all comments. Often omissions are weaponized. People avoid judgment, exposure, embarrassment, pain, etc. So they omit things. It's dishonest but common. That's real. That's absolutely real. And it doesn't always have to be malicious. You know, sometimes people are being very malicious, right? But I mean, it's still lying to me. Lying by omission is a legal term. Listen, absolutely, right? You, absolutely, Nikki. But some people, hey, they'll be like, yo, it don't matter if it's legal or not. I ain't lie though. I ain't lie. So let's look at this. Let's look at this, y'all. So to me, this is my view. Y'all can do what y'all will with. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to plant some seeds. I ain't saying my way is right. I'm just kind of, vibing tonight. Let me know what y'all think too. So for me, truth isn't just built on what you say. To me, it's built on what you don't hide. Tell the truth, right? When you withhold information that could change how someone relates to you, how they understand, or whatever, you shape their look at this, y'all. When you do that stuff, You're actually shaping their reality without their consent. How fair is that? That's deception just dressed as silence. Am I lying though? Am I lying? What y'all think? Am I lying? Okay, I'm gonna go further. I'm gonna go further. I see y'all comments, but I'm gonna go a little further. So a mission to me, whether lying or not, is lying to kick it. Why? Because to me, lying robs both people of agency. What you mean by agency? Agency is just basically your power to make informed choices for yourself, right? Think about that. All right. Some things you need to know before you move forward, right? How many times have y'all been in a situation, say, you're getting to know someone or whatever, and hey, you thinking that they telling you the truth, and then something else falls out later, like, hey, yo, I needed to know that. You feel me? Why you ain't tell me that? Right? Because for them, maybe, there could have been other factors involved, but that does not negate from the fact that they have shaped your reality, without your permission. Like, okay, because you're thinking it's one thing based on what they're saying, right? So now listen to this, y'all. Now, so agency is basically your power to make informed decisions for yourself. Your freedom to say yes or no, not yet, or I understand, right? Based on truth. All right. So when a person withholds important information, the other person loses their agency because they cannot decide. You're not making an informed decision, right? They're saying yes is something that isn't the full reality. And in actuality, it ain't just one sided, it's a two-way street, baby. Because you lose your agency too because you showing up fake. You ain't even real. You're not even showing up as your authentic self, right? So if you're not showing up as your authentic self, right, that's an injustice to you, right? So both people are basically robbed of their freedom. One is robbed of freedom to choose truthfully. The other is robbed of their freedom to be loved authentically, right? Did y'all think about it like that? I'm just saying. Did y'all really think about it like that? Am I nailing it, Holly? Let me take a drink. It's been a long day, y'all. It's been a long, long day. I'm just saying, right? Define holding. Omission is when, okay, for example, define holding. What's another example? Um, I don't know. Like, say a couple is married, right? Now, sometimes you might not know everything. I don't know. I'm just this is just right off there. This is just basically not admitting facts. Okay, so say a couple wants to file their taxes together. They made an agreement. Yeah, this makes sense to file taxes together, blah, 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 because this is you get so many benefits, right? Whatever, right? I ain't no tax person. My degree it ain't in tax. Right? So the wife is like, yo, let's go ahead and do this. But the husband didn't admit, hey, yo, I owe back child support. Bruh, I would need to know that because I don't want to file with you, right? Because I don't want my taxes taken because it's something you made that I didn't have no pleasure in. You feel me? Like, why should I have to pay for your back child support? And I get the whole thing, when you become one or whatever. But I'm just saying, you would that's to me that's an example of holding information. Bro, why wouldn't you tell the truth? Right? Because you didn't shape that wife's reality like, yo, we gonna file taxes, we gonna get something back. But nah, bro, y'all both about not to have nothing. I'm just saying now, I don't know how all that works. I just know the little bit that I know. If it's some tax attorneys or tax people in the timeline, let me know how it works. But I'm just saying, I was just trying to give an example. That's extreme. But Jerome, it happens. It happens. It totally happens, right? That's what I'm saying. Like another example of holding. Oh yeah, I went out, with one of my friends. You ain't lying. You went out with one of your friends. One of your friends is one your little sneaky link. I'm just saying that's withholding. Your friend. I'm just saying. So, So Jerome, let me know what you think. Hopefully that made it clear. Listen, now that's just the truth. Listen. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? I ain't had no pleasure in making that. I have no problem with being there for the kids. In fact, hey, my little steps love me. I'm just saying, like, kids love me. I don't never have no problem with the kids, right? But the truth, I didn't have no pleasure in making that kid. I'm just saying. I ain't take nothing away from it. I'm just saying I ain't had no pleasure. That's all I'm saying. So anyway, all right. So y'all trying to get me off. All right. So basically, Omission isn't neutral because it quietly steals the choice from everyone involved, right? So withholding the truth to avoid conflict or protect your image might feel easier, but it doesn't always build trust. It just manages perception. Am I lying? Am I lying? Think about this. So damage control, you might think, nah, I ain't gonna tell him this or I ain't gonna tell her that. And it's a case by case. You have to assess it for you. I'm just speaking in general, right? Damage control might keep the peace temporarily, but it quietly erodes the foundation. Hear me out. Imagine that you're building a house and your house is built on truth. It's all these half truths out there, right? Half truth, half truth, half truth, half truth, line to kick it, line to kick it, line to kick it, right? Sooner or later, the damn structure gonna collapse, right? By you not saying the whole truth, you've already decided for them without giving them the dignity to choose, right? I see y'all. I see you in the studio. All right. But is that really love? Is that really love? To me, no, that's control in disguise. You just trying to control. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? So over time, your partner may sense something that's missing. You know, something my daddy used to say is your spirit is always at work. Like your physical person might not know what's going on, right? And for me, this has always been so true, right? So your spirit is always at work, right? Your higher self is always at work. And even though your partner or whoever the relationship, family ship, friendship, or whatever, you know something ain't right. You might not know what it is, right? So your spirit is always at work. And eventually, that truth, whatever it is, it doesn't always have to be malicious or whatever, it will come out. So what does this do? What does this do? What you're really doing is you are chipping away at what could be an emotional safe foundation. It starts chipping away little by little. Just saying. So yes, omission is lying to kick it because to me, love cannot grow in soil where truth has been buried. Tell me how. Tell me how. Houseway, how? Love can't grow in soil where truth has been buried. Am I lying? Am I lying? What if the spirit is wrong? Hey, the Bible tell you to test the spirits. Test the spirits, Jerome. You probably was most a lot of us black folks grew up in the church, right? We done read the Bible or whatever it is. You feel me? If that's your belief system, I'm just saying test the spirit. Test the spirit, right? When I'm truly in being truly centered in my true discernment, baby, my spirit don't miss. My dreams don't miss. That's why I be telling brothers that I be, hollering at, like when I get into a relationship, keep it real with me, right? Because like my dreams is like Miss Cleo, you feel me? Like I might not know in the physical, you feel me, but my spirit is at work, and I'm a dreamer because I'm a dreamer. I'm just saying. A half truth is a whole lot. Jason Boyd, Coach Boyd, you need to get in the studio with me. It's been a minute. How you been? How you been? You're a teacher. Listen, they don't call me professor for nothing. Listen, my ratings ain't a perfect 5 for nothing. I'm just saying, brush these tan brown shoulders off a little bit. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. All right, so listen, y'all. So do yourself a favor. Miss yourself. Because sometimes even conversations with self, miss yourself and your partner with the I ain't lied though. Nah, bruh, you ain't lied, or sis, you ain't lied. And you really trying to get by on a whole technicality, whether intentional or not, you are lying to kick it, right? Because you admitting the whole truth. It's just what it is. Nah, I ain't lied. Yes, you did. And when are you gonna look in the mirror? Right? Because that mirror cold blooded, like I said last week, that mirror cold blooded. You hear me? And it's telling you you're lying. You looking in your eyes and you might be fine, but your spirit is saying you lying, right? And some people just might be good at being desensitized, but I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying. All right, y'all. So let's see here. Am I missing any? Yes, my dreams are very prophetic, right? And I ain't crazy. I believe in Jesus, God, and all that. I don't have listen, I don't have no seances and none of that. My dreams be real prophetic. I didn't call people and told them, hey yo, I had this dream and it happened. I'm just saying. So that's why I be telling, like when I be in dating situations, you feel me? Relationship, don't lie. Keep it real with me because I'm a dreamer, right? Not to even mention my whole little, that's just a lack of maturity. That's fair. That's fair. I've been good, Miss Lisa. Looks like life is treating. Life is blowing me kisses, Jason. It really is. Even when it feel like it ain't, it is. You feel me? Even when life feel uncertain and my nervous system is all over the place, Coach, life is still blowing me kisses. Because my daddy used to say to me, everything is always at a happy medium. It's your mind that messes it up. So everything is always working out for the good. Everything is always at work, but it's your mind. So that's what I'm saying. Life is still blowing me kisses. I'm just saying. Let's see here. Omission about your what's that proclivities and my charts could be extremely damaging physically, mentally, and spiritually. Absolutely. Here's one. Here's one, Jerome. You still listening? Telling somebody you got no kids when you got three. You hear me? How often does that happen? Or this is cute. Hey, yeah. I'm laughing because this really did happen to me a long time ago. Yeah, yeah, I'm how did they put it? Yeah, I ain't with nobody. Okay, that's what's up, right? Yeah, and I was like, yeah, I'm divorced too. This was a long, long, long time ago, right? Yeah, me too. Then, oh, well, basically, because I was like, well, how did you cope with your divorce or whatever? This conversation. Oh, well, I ain't divorced. I'm separated. Bro, you still married. Talking about I ain't with nobody. See, you see this little stuff like that. Why you lying? Right? You trying to he was trying to manipulate my whole reality a few years, a couple years ago or whatever, right? Bruh. Just lying. Just lying, lying, lying. I'm just saying, I ain't with nobody. I live alone. Red flag. Hella red flag, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm saying people be lying. Some people do. So, all right, y'all. So, anyway, transparency isn't about what you say, it's about what you don't hide. Okay. Vulnerability takes courage, but it's the only way, to me, in my opinion, that two people can truly know if they can build something lasting. You got to show up authentic, you got to speak authentic. That's all I'm saying, y'all. That's all I'm saying. When I meet a woman for dinner, I ask 7 questions. If she missed 2 out of 7, I say we not on the same page. One, with spirit life, you have the devil or Jesus. Question 2, do you have a job? Question 3, do you have life insurance? 4, do you have wills? That makes sense. Do you have a car? Question 6, have you ever spent time in jail? Question 7, how many children do you have? And if she meet 5 and 7, I would say show me. That's fair. That's fair. I think that's absolutely fair. And everybody has their, well, some of us have our system. Some of us do have a system. All right, so y'all, it's 7:43. Why y'all let me talk so long? All right, so let's see here. Let's see. If you want to get on, Reese, did you want to get on tonight? Link 1 for yes, 2 for no. All right, let me bring you on. Coming to the
What's up?
stage, we have
What's up? What's up?
man.
What's up?
What's up?
Lisa, what's up,
What's up?
Soup? How y'all doing tonight? So yeah, that's a touchy conversation. Omission is lying. So, I mean, that's why I mentioned, my charts, and that's a serious subject because, I just heard in Atlanta alone, 20,000 people contracted HIV. So 20,000 in just Atlanta alone. So there's been a lot of people on to kick it. So, and that could be dangerous to people. So, if there's something that you have that, you feel like you don't want to be vulnerable about it, just, go stage left or just be real with people because it could be so damaging, to yourself and to other folks. And, part of the loving process, you got to love yourself. And then that's an extension of loving to others. So when you lie to yourself. And when you lie to yourself, you lie to others.
Absolutely, you do, and that's a thing. And Jerome, that could be another example because again, I am no medical professional. I guess I should have had William, my friend William, on because he would know more about it. But I know that there is medications out there that people who have, like HIV or whatever,
Yes.
right? And
Hmm.
so, like, it can actually, I guess, help to stabilize,
Suppress. Yes.
suppress, right? And so, even when they take the test, right, it's not going to show up that they have it.
Correct.
To me, right? Listen, saying, "Oh, well, no, I'm disease free. I'm good." You lying, because
Yeah,
if
that's
you
a lie.
miss that pill or wherever,
Ooh.
I don't know how that goes. Y'all correct me. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? I mean, then everybody messed up. I'm just
For
saying.
real. Yeah. And even, and that's the most extreme one, but even other things, that could be damaging from, a STI or STD, standpoint. You have to, be real with those things. And then also, if you have a crazy ex that stalk you and, just hiding in the bushes and you say you ain't got nobody, stop lying to kick it. Just like, I'm not trying to get killed because you lying, because, you got a crazy ex or crazy, whatever, a side thing, or, you in, some other situations that could be damaging to, that person. So why lie to kick it? Be real. And
Absolutely.
reality is, if you real, hey, you never know that actual connection could be with it. So, hey, why lie?
Definitely. There are people who have, I mean, and it's a case by case. So there are people who may have, a terminal illness, and it's just like, well, you know what? I love you and I want to be with you, and whatever, right? But give
Mhm.
that person the right to choose. And I see you,
Absolutely.
Jerome. I don't go in the rain when I'm. Hey, that's a beautiful thing, right? But some
Absolutely.
some 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 things them boots ain't gonna protect. I'm
Ooh,
just saying,
boots on the ground.
sometimes
I
them
don't
boots,
care. It,
sometimes them
and it
boots ain't
makes you
gonna
say,
protect.
whoa.
You can have your boots on the ground all day long, but some of the
Ooh.
things, I'm just saying.
Yeah, you got
So
you got to protect yourself, and you, like I say, that's a really important, and that could be a whole show, when it comes to that situation, and people, like I said, there's a lot of people lying to kick it about their sexual health. So, in that arena, that could be a whole show about lying to kick it part two. But also from an emotional standpoint, if you really feel something for somebody, just be real and tell people what your background is, and let them know what they're getting into before the waters get too deep, and then we down the road, and then you're like, oh, I didn't call feelings, and then it got me confused. I thought it was this, and it's really that. And so oftentimes people lie, and lying, whether it's directly or admission, is a form of manipulation. So that's what it is. You try to manipulate the situation because you want to see an expected outcome.
absolutely, absolutely. Hold on. Miss Cleo was, what, Tyron Joe? Like I just told Jerome. Okay. I'm just saying, hey, no, 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 I'll test the spirit. You feel me? I'm just saying, I
Test
ain't
the
gonna cry,
spirit.
baby. My
Yeah.
my dreams been real. My dreams, sometimes my dreams are real. Now sometimes my dreams is on something else. But I'm just, and I ain't gonna make it like I have it all the time or whatever. It's just that when I am in a relationship with someone and there are soul ties, or like, or even just like my friends that are divine connections or whatever, like there's that connection there. And sometimes, hey, the God speak to me. He speak to me in my dreams sometimes. But hey, this is what I want to do, because I do want to bring on this scenario. So Reese, stay around. I
Okay.
want to know what you think
Perfect.
about this. And then we're gonna get
Absolutely.
to a couple true false, and I'm gonna get out of here because we did not get to the true false last week. So
Let's
y'all,
go.
like I said, there is a from the principals inbox, right? That
Ooh.
somebody posted in Relationship Soup. So that's basically a scenario. This person is anonymous. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it on, and I'm just gonna kind of paraphrase a little bit. It's kind of long. But anyway, so all right, so y'all should be able to see this. Okay, so boom. So hopefully y'all can see this. So basically, this is somebody who was divorced, 3 kids, right? They back out dating, they back outside. So anyway, they met somebody, and or whatever. So they really want to get serious, right? So now, after a couple dates, homie was like, yo, I really want to be exclusive, right? But it was only like after a few dates, not a lot of dates. I think it was 3. Do y'all see it in here? 'Cause I'm trying to hurry up for the sake of time. So anyway, so he's trying to move around like, because she was kind of like, yeah, no, that's kind of too soon or whatever, right? So, what do y'all think? Right? And so they have a date this week, and he's just like, hey, I'm kind of like stressing about how I should move because, I asked her to be exclusive and she's, not really feeling it. Right. So after the third date, there it is right there. After the
Mhm.
third date,
Mhm.
he asked her about being exclusive. Right. So anyway, like I said about the number 3. So anyway, so what y'all think? I'm gonna share some stuff from the soup because a few people did have some comments or whatever. Let's look at this.
Let's
So,
go.
Coach Boy said it's going to be an uphill battle, and this is just the tip of the iceberg. But if you like a lot of adversity in your personal life, then by all means have at it. So somebody else said, go ahead and pop her balloon.
That's hilarious.
That's really hilarious. Another person says, "What does your
Um,
gut tell you?" Yeah. So someone else says, "In my opinion, exclusive means we're a couple. So to ask after only 3 dates is wild. You're moving way too fast. As you said, you both are divorced, and she may want to make sure things are real before jumping back into commitment. Is her divorce fresh? She might not be ready even to be BF, whatever." And just wants to date, that's her right. And it's also your right to not want to stick around. Y'all need to have a discussion and figure it out. So that's basically what that comment says right there. So I'm gonna stop that share.
yeah,
All right.
I agree with Tara.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because why we moving so fast? What's the rush? Because
What's
at the
the
end of the
rush?
day, what's the rush? Because we know, and people, and speaking of line and kick it, we know that, and it's not that there's a line and kick it, but when you meet somebody, you put on your best self. So you're not really meeting the representative after 3 days. We don't really know each other. We still talk about like what's your favorite food? Oh, did you see this show? You know, and things like that. The little small talk. You're not getting deep into the roots, and you don't even know people's proclivities, after 3 dates. So, that's a red flag to me, So if I had a red flag, I would hold it up. Like, no, 3 dates, nah. Can't hear you, Lisa.
Oh, heck, Dang, that's weird. Okay, so anyway, Jerome says you have to go on another person's timeline. Holly says tell him to go to it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Holly says I'm looking forward to the next single me. Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That's your event, Reese. You want to tell them about it real quick? Then I'm gonna get to the true false and I'm gonna get out of here.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah.
So yours truly on the 13th. That's a Saturday. It's going to be here in Castleton, here in Indianapolis, Indiana. Yours truly will be DJing. It is a fun, clean Christian event hosted by myself. I'll be the DJ on the mic, on the ones and twos, but we're going to play all Christian music. So it's not going to be boring. We're not just going to be playing worship music. Like there's some banger hip hop Christian music. So we're going to get it in Jesus' name, on the ones and twos with your boy. So please come out. If you're 25 and up, you're single and ready to mingle and meet some people that's not crazy or don't appear to be crazy. I'm just playing, but some really good people. Have Chris fun. It's also joined with my homegirl, and she's put the event together, and we're going to be meeting really soon about the music. But I'm telling you, this is something you don't want to miss. If you're free that Saturday, I know there's a Stokely show, but Music Man gonna get it in, and we're gonna have some fun, really good time. So clean Christian fun, no mess, and we gonna have a good time. If you're single and ready to mingle, in Jesus' name, come on out.
All right. Thank you so much, Reese. And I will post that flyer again in Relationship Soup. I'm gonna get to this true false and I'm gonna get out of here. Y'all know what today
Let's
y'all know what
go.
today is. On a
Do
Tuesday.
on the Tuesday. Lisa hungry, hangry.
And I ain't got no it ain't no Snickers in sight. So all right then. All
I'm
right,
gonna get
I'll
you a
holler at
snack
you in a
bowl.
minute.
All right,
All
peace.
right. All right, cool. All right, boom. So you heard it here first. All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get to these true false because we did not get to these last week. All right, so let's look at this. Let's look at this. All right, y'all. So true false. We're gonna get a couple of true false in. All right, and I'm gonna bring it up. All right, so being someone true or false, being someone's backup plan is still better than being single. True or false? Being someone's backup plan. So being someone's backup plan is better than being single. Is that true or false? True or false? What y'all thinking? What y'all think? All right. I see y'all little comments. Yes, it is dinner time for Lisa. Yes, yes, yes. False, false, false. The answer is absolutely false. According to The Power of Singlehood by Dr. Bella DiPaolo, that answer is false. All right, y'all. So let me go ahead and bring on another question. Let me get Holly's comment off of there. All right. So let's look at this. All right. Let's look at this one. All right, so damage control builds long-term trust. Damage control builds long-term trust. Is that true or false? True or false? What y'all think? Damage control. We talked about that earlier. This is a pop quiz. What y'all think? Tonality says true. Mark Lee says false. All right, so the answer is, and Jerome says false. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the answer. The answer is false. It creates fragile conditional trust. Okay. Yeah. So that is the answer for that. All right. So Derek, I see your comment. You said no. All right. So let's see here because we're about to get out of here, right? So start the episode with a couple getting married after 3 weeks. I wouldn't move that fast myself. I feel he's rushing it. Get to know her, the real her first, or find somebody who is in a hurry like you and watch for all the speed bumps along the way. That's real. You just gotta find your person. Right? You just have to absolutely find your person because there is somebody out there that after 3 days say, hey, you wifey or you husband. You feel me? So, you just gotta find your person. All right, so let's see here. Let's see. All right, y'all. So yeah, we are close to time. Thank y'all all for joining me tonight. This has been a fantastic conversation. Um, oh, thank you, DJs United. I appreciate it's been a minute. It's been a minute. Now, DJs United Radio. You have subscribed to Relationship Soup, right? I'm just saying. I hope you subscribe on YouTube because I'm about to go over it. All right, y'all. So tonight was all about reflection. So knowing your worth and leaning into courage it takes to be honest, because it does take courage to be honest. With yourself and others. We walked through some. Hey, we got kind of tender tonight, did we not? So this is where I'll leave you. Being chosen isn't just about someone picking you. It's about both people picking truth over and over and over again. And even if you're in a relationship with self, it's about picking truth over and over again, even when it's messy, even when it calls comfort, because truth is the seed of lasting love, right? And again, whatever that means for you is a case by case. Listen, I'm not saying that what I'm saying is fact, right? Because all we be doing on relationship soup is planting seeds. I'm saying. So y'all, I love to leave with an affirmation, right? This one it was a little long. So let me see if I can go ahead and bring it on. It's kind of long, but so basically, I'm divinely chosen. It's halfway up here, but I'm going to go ahead and say it. So I'm divinely chosen, seen, and valued. Every word I speak in truth creates harmony. What is mine by right of love cannot be taken, and what is built in honesty will never collapse. I walk in integrity, and life returns that integrity to me multiplied. Right? The second part, because it was kind of long. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much. What's for the dinner, man? Listen. I got some good dinner tonight, y'all. I went all in. Like, I got some little, it's kind of country, but I got the little oxtails. I got all kind of stuff. Rice, the whole bit. I'm telling you, I went in. All right, y'all. So anyway, thank you so much for joining me. Thank y'all so much for pulling up. Y'all know I got to do my spiel. Please like, follow across all platforms. Relationship Soup, period, on YouTube. On Facebook, it's Relationship Soup Group. Come and join the group. If you want to follow me, it's Relationship Soup LLC. And don't forget RelationshipSoup.com for your greeting card needs. Okay. So, hey, I appreciate all y'all joining me. Mama, thank you so much for joining me tonight. I really, really, really appreciate you. To my guests that came on today, I really appreciate you. Music Man, thanks so much for always supporting. The Grishams, Aunt Anna's, my viewers. Mark Lee, I see you in the studio. Shout out to Lyric as well. Yes, absolutely. Yes, Mama. Yes, 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 yes. What we eating, love, country. Hey, listen, I'm about to get it in tonight. So anyway, y'all, just as I always say, every week you have to love yourself. It starts with you, right? So I hope that this week will bring you all blessings, love, light, the the desires of your heart. May your prayers be answered and all that, right? So anyway, thank y'all again for joining me. I love you all. And until we meet, y'all know I'll be trying to make sure that I coordinate. You remember that time I didn't coordinate too well? Anyway, I was trying to say peace, not, cut. Anyway. So anyway, I love y'all. Until we meet next time. Peace.